Welcome, everybody. This is our biometric security final project presentation. My name was Michael Schweitzer.
This is Felix P.
My name is Dana Ayed.
I'm Daniel Schnieder.
I'm Jacob Smith.
Popping right into what are biometrics? By definition, they are unique physical or behavioral traits used to identify a person's identity. Uh, some examples are body parts or repeatable traits that we see in human behavior. Their general purpose is to upgrade security, increase convenience for easy human access, and prevent identity theft and fraud. Moving over to current applications of biometrics, unlocking daily devices such as our phones, laptops, and tablets. We can also see these in airports and in banking apps and in banks. Moving on to Felix with facial recognition.
Thank you, Michael. In the 1960s, early researchers developed the first semi-automated systems which required humans to manually mark facial features such as eyes and nose positions before computers could analyze them. In the 1990s, with improved computing power, facial recognition algorithm became more automated and began using statistical methods like eigenfaces. This era marked the first practical use in law enforcement and security applications. And in the present day, the rise of deep learning revolutionized the field. Neural networks enable the systems to recognize faces with far greater accuracy. Moving on to the next slide. AI models will gain the ability to recognize faces in difficult conditions, such as extreme angles, masks, aging, or low light. Facial recognition may become a universal logging devices, such as workplaces, travel, and payments. We may see facial recognition supporting personalized services, intelligent transportation systems, and secure public spaces. Moving on to the challenges. There's the privacy concern, which facial data can be collected without consent, raising fears of surveillance, tracking, and misuse of personal information. And some systems perform less accurately on certain demographic groups, which can lead to unfair outcomes, especially in law enforcement or hiring contexts. Lastly, unlike passport, one cannot reset their face. If facial data is stolen, the consequences are long-term. Spoofing attacks using photos, masks, or deepfakes also remain concerns. Next, we have Dana for iris scanning.
Thank you, Felix. So another biometric security is the iris scan. So what is that? Iris scanning is the use of iris patterns as a form of a personal ID, and this is achieved by a near infrared camera that captures the iris, then will be put through a software, and that software will extract the features of the iris and compare it to the other irises they have stored in like their software. So some of its advantages, it's extremely accurate and difficult to duplicate the iris and forge it. It's contactless and fast. So it's used in border control, secure access to devices, applications, and networks, and also banking. So moving on to challenges. So this biometric has challenges as other biometrics do. First thing is spoofing can happen by using contact lenses for prosthetic eyes. Template security and irreversibility, as in if stolen or compromised, it is hard to change, as in you would change it as if you would change a password. If that were to get stolen or compromised, it's just hard to replace an iris password. For high cost and deployment, it requires more security and anti-spoofing cameras for the or anti-spoofing iris scanners, and that in itself is a high cost. So some people view iris scanning as very intrusive, so that would be classified as acceptance and privacy concerns. So now on to fingerprints with Daniel.
Thank you, Dana. So how does it work? First, let's look at the biological basis. A fingerprint scanner isn't just taking a picture of the swirls on your thumb, it's looking for the minutia. These are the specific points where ridges end or split. While patterns like loops and whorls are common, the specific configuration of these minutia points is what makes you unique. To capture this, we use a few different scanning methods. Uh, Optical sensors use light. Capacitive sensors use electricity to distinctively feel the ridges, and ultrasound maps the 3D depth of your finger. For data storage, the system does not keep an image of your fingerprint. Instead, it converts those minutia points into a mathematical algorithm or a hash. This is a vital security feature because if the database is hacked, the hacker only gets a string of numbers. They cannot reverse engineer your actual fingerprint image from that data. Why and where is it used? So why is this our go-to method? The main drivers are security and convenience. It's much harder to steal a fingerprint than a key card, and unlike a password, you cannot forget it. We see this apply across several sectors. In law enforcement, systems like the IAFIS or the Automated Fingerprint Identification System allow for massive criminal database searching. In border control, the ident system and e-passports verify travelers' identities instantly. And of course, we use logical access control every day. Whether it's unlocking your smartphone or logging into a banking app, biometrics link your physical identity directly to your digital permissions. Challenges of the fingerprint. However, the technology isn't perfect. The most significant risk is the irreversibility. If your password is stolen, you can change it. If your fingerprint is permanently compromised, you can't get a new fingerprint. There are also security threats like master fingerprints, which are artificial patterns designed to fool sensors by mimicking common features, and spoofing, where high quality molds can bypass basic scanners. Finally, we have to consider reliability. There's the examiner's fallacy, which just because fingerprints are unique doesn't mean the matching process is always error free. False positives can happen, and physical limitations like dirt, moisture, or a cut on your finger could cause the scanner to fail entirely. Now moving on to future applications with Jacob.
Thank you, Daniel. So now that we've gone over the past, the present of biometric security, we are going to jump into some of the future applications or what's on the horizon for what we can expect to see and what we actually already are seeing. So first off, we're going to do internal RFID chips, Neuralink, and then heartbeat authentication. So there's a lot more than these, obviously. These are just the three that we chose to work on today. First one we're going to go into is RFID chips. Now these are pretty much a little chip that's just about the size of a grain of rice. They go right here in between the thumb and index finger on your hand, as you can see from the image right there. They're injected with a little syringe. Pretty simple process. These are pretty cool as they would allow you to do a lot of like wireless contact payments, well, wireless contact situations, such as opening your doors. Say you have an apartment door, electronic, you walk up to it, stick your hand on the doorknob, immediately unlocks while you're opening the door. That's pretty cool. Contactless payments. You can tap your hand on your laptop, pay something, open, insert a password, do a bunch of different stuff. It seems like a pretty cool piece of technology, but the only thing that really would stop a lot of people is the comfort aspect. At least from reports, there is no issue with being able to feel the chip in your hand, but you know it's there. So it's really up to the person as to whether it's actually something they'd be comfortable with doing. Now, something that's a little bit even more intrusive and would take a little bit more comfort to be able to trust, Neuralink. Now, this is essentially a chip that is placed next to the brain, which connects to the brain through multiple little probes. Now, this has mainly been used so far to help people who are paralyzed and deaf to be able to get back to doing stuff on their own, which is a really, really cool thing. In context of this class, it could also allow a user to telepathically grant access to systems, electric locks, payment methods, stuff like that, all of the same kind of concepts. And then lastly, jumping into heartbeat authentication. So believe it or not, everybody has an individual ECG signature as their heart's electrical signature. Everyone's is unique, everyone's is stable, and it would make a great way of authenticating someone. So these so far have been implemented in a variety of ways. Two most widespread ones are smartwatches and the little rings that you can get sometimes. And they're also being implemented through AR glasses, a couple of other things. Pretty cool piece of technology, significantly less intrusive than the other two we've already mentioned. That being said, here are our references. Thank you so much for listening in today. We hope you enjoyed our presentation on biometric security.